Hey, hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to a quick podcast with myself and Tom Paladino. I've been using Tom's products for probably about 7 or 8 years now, and they are truly revolutionary. And I don't normally endorse someone's products unless I've experienced it firsthand. And I've experienced what Tom has to offer twice, and I'll go into that in a little bit. But first of all, before we bring Tom on, I'd like to just go ahead and do a quick water blessing. I'd like everyone to raise their left hand over that glass of water about 3 inches. And in a second, you're going to start to feel that universal energy run down through your hand into the water. Once that starts to flow, I'd like you to put your attention on the water and repeat those 8 sacred words. I honor the space in which you exist. And what you'll notice is that increase of energy will flow right through your hand into the water. This is just a general goodwill blessing to kind of get the show off to an amazing start. Notice the taste and the texture difference. And then obviously where it's moving in your body energetically. Tom, how are you, sir?
I am very well. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Awesome. So, can you just bring some of our listeners up to speed a little bit on what you've been doing over the years and what you're offering these days?
Sure. I'm working with Tesla instruments, Scalar Energy 0 point instruments. I've devoted my career to this. It's a narrow science, but indeed is quite promising. So I'm working with Scalar Energy. It's not electricity. And over the years, I've developed and perfected instruments that can work with people by way of a photograph. It's quantum energy. So people will send me a photograph. This is my photograph, which has a signature. It has energy attached to that photograph. And I actually place a photograph of a person inside a quantum instrument, and we can broadcast and send healing by way through the interface of a photograph. This is Tesla science. This is scalar energy science. It's valid. It works.
So, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, we interviewed you on the original MDM show. And literally about 2 months after we interviewed you, I was diagnosed very quickly with Lyme disease, which I've never had before. And I had taken a nap in the afternoon and woke up with a high fever and chills, and went to the doctor, and they confirmed it a day later. At which point, I reached out to you to use this technology to see if it would help. And I sent you my picture, and use the technology for 30 days. And I clearly remember within 3 days, 3 days, all of my symptoms were completely gone. Mind blowing. And then, we kind of went our separate ways over the years. And then I reached out to you about 6 weeks ago again. Back in November, I had a rash on the side of my chest that I just couldn't get rid of. And I went to the doctor to give all kinds of creams and all this stuff, and nothing was working. And again, I reached out to you and sent you my picture on the 30-day free trial. And within probably a little less than 3 days, there was noticeable improvement in that rash. And it was probably completely gone within 2 weeks, which is, nothing short of miraculous. Now, I've developed many products and services over the years that would alleviate the rash. The problem and the issue that I've always had is once the products have gone through the beta stages and they're now out in the world, they don't work for me anymore. And I have no idea why the universe does that, but they just do. So those are my rolling testimonies and glowing testimonies to what you offer. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Thank you, Peter. I'm glad you had a favorable experience. I'm all about results. At the end of the day, as a researcher, I want to see results. Can I speak to that point? Well, quite candidly, the instruments that I've developed break down the molecular bonds of a microorganism, a germ, pathogen. We can negate the molecular bonds. If my two fingers represent the hydrogen bonds of a virus, and we can negate those molecular bonds, the DNA of a virus falls apart, it shatters. This is what we've experienced with scalar energy instruments. Working with this fundamental force, we can control a microbe to the extent that we can interrupt its molecular integrity. And in so doing, the microbe, the germ, disassembles. If a germ disassembles, it's gone. The infectious agent ceases to exist.
So does it work the same with bacteria and viruses?
Yes, bacteria, viruses, fungi, even prions. We can shatter microbes. And it's all done, once again, through your photograph. This is informational healing. It's not biological. We access a person through the informational field. We're having a conversation by Zoom. Obviously, you're not in my computer. I'm not in your office. And so if we can share information by Zoom, then we can share information by a photograph.
That's amazing. And did you guys have any successes during the pandemic?
Excellent. My family and friends, I was working with hundreds of people. Nobody had to go to the hospital.
Really?
No one.
So did you take, was it only after they were infected 100%, or did you do any work prior to anybody becoming infected?
It was prophylactic. So for the 2 years of the lockdown, not one family member, not one friend was admitted to the hospital. So I'll let your audience come to the conclusion.
That's amazing. That's pretty amazing. We developed a picture that eventually made it into the new SaaS platform, which is AquaSync, which was the old Aquaware and everything. And it was a quantum picture of a virus, right? Something that was very generalized through the frequencies that were instilled in the picture, different from what you do, but yet again, still utilizing those kind of fundamental quantum properties. And I've had the sniffles with the cold coming on, and I would put a glass of water near the computer with the picture, drink the water, and there was no more sniffles within 30 minutes. It was pretty incredible. So where do you guys see yourself taking this tech in the future? Or
Well, that's a good point. So if I can work with one photograph, I can work with many photographs. Today in my laboratory, I'm working with 500,000 people. We are growing, Peter. I have received collages, and we're working with 500,000 people today. Where do we want to go with this? Eventually, I want to work with 1 billion photographs. I want to provide quantum healing to 1 billion people. And if you consider that we can transcend time and space, and that photographs can be miniaturized, and that we have automatic computer uploaders that upload photographs 24 hours a day, we could easily assume 1 million, 2 million photographs a day, easily.
So here's a little mind twist for you, since we're talking about quantum-based principles. Would you even need a photograph in the future? I mean, if you were just to close your eyes and get in your place of power, I know you can do this, and most people that are intuitive can probably do it, where you could just connect with everything that was, is, and will be again. Why couldn't you go that route with the tech?
That's the analog to that is prayer, and you're absolutely right, or intention. When you provided a blessing upon that water, that's scalar energy. That's a scalar energy blessing, or that's prayer, or intention, or meditation. Giving rise to the concept of prayer, intercession. Prayer works. What is the fundament? What is the animating force of prayer? It's scalar energy, or any blessing. So this is intention. And everybody has this ability. You're right. So if I can pray, and I do every day, and I pray for the world, or I can treat the world also by way of a photograph, which is analogous. One is done with my soul, the other is done with an instrument. But it's in operation, the animating force is always the life force, scalar energy, what some people call consciousness. So what people have been doing, what cultures have been, societies have embraced for centuries, I now have instrumentation, scientific instruments that prove that that is a valid science.
And so just again, for people that don't know you and the technology, when someone sends you a digital photograph or maybe mails you a physical photograph, do you have a computer? Do you have something that you built?
Yeah, they're custom built instruments, and I take a photograph, I print it out, and I place the photograph inside an instrument. And the instrument, the energy, knows what to do. I want to make this very clear. When you're working with this animating force, the life force of the universe, you don't override it. I simply let the energy perform the healing through the interface of a photograph. So the supercomputer here is the universe.
Right.
We have computers. Computer science is wonderful, but we have to program a computer. When you're working with scalar energy, which is consciousness, you don't program consciousness. It knows what to do.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So in the future, you see yourself working with millions of people.
Yes.
But how do you scale that up if you're um, even in a collage, where you can put maybe, I don't know, 1,000 people, maybe, and whatever. How do you how do you do that? That's a lot of time, isn't it?
One scalar energy instrument can easily assume, say, 5 million photographs. They're big instruments.
Oh, wow.
So at one time, simultaneously, I could treat 5 million people at one particular time, easily.
Sounds like you got it all figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, Peter. To be candid with you, I have. This is not my first day at the office. You're right.
And what have been the biggest highlights since the last time we've interviewed you 7 years ago in what you're doing?
God bless. We've been working with a clinic in India. It's an HIV clinic. And everybody that we've worked with in that clinic is telling us that they feel better. Here's a photograph. It's called Om Prakash. We've worked with 5,000 people at Om Prakash HIV clinic. And after submitting their photograph, we work with them. Nobody has a viral load after they submitted a photograph. Nobody. 5,000 people. So I think the word is going to get out that 5,000 people in Delhi, India feel better and that nobody has any symptoms of HIV.
So feeling better and not having symptoms is not exactly the same as being verifiably tested to be virus free. And the way I understand it is once they can treat HIV today with compounds and chemicals and get it down to where it's almost untraceable and definitely not transmissible anymore today. So I guess the question then becomes, have those findings been verified with whatever testing they do?
Yes, there have been follow-up PCR tests, and all of the follow-up PCR tests subsequent to the scalar energy sessions, all test results are negative, no viral load.
Oh, that's awesome.
No viral load. And now this has been going on now for the past 5 years. So we worked with the founder initially in 2017, and he's not had a viral load for the past 5 years. So he's introduced it to his community. And what's really promising is the follow-up PCR test. There's no viral load.
So once you've submitted one of these patients to the technology, is there a follow-up after that, or is it just a one-time deal and they're done?
It's a one-time deal and they're done.
Oh, that's so hot.
This is what I love about my work, I don't claim to be a medical professional. I'm not. I'm working in the informational realm, not the biological realm. So we have to simply say we leave it up to the people. I can't adjudicate whether people feel better. I can't have any influence on their subsequent health or the PCR test. So this is a new branch of science in which, for the time being, we have to rely upon testimonies. Nobody has this technique. I'm the only one in the world that I know that has this type of instrumentation. So my process is unique. It's not been duplicated.
That's amazing. That's so cool. So likewise, us over at the MDM side have been really pushing the envelope. We've probably done 80 product launches since the last time we
Wow.
interviewed. Yeah, it's been
My goodness.
pretty crazy. So this guy here is what we call the new HFA Traveler, harmonic field amplifier Traveler. And the original two, this is the third iteration, the original two were made from pure copper and silver. They were much larger and heavier, and you could only connect them to a vehicle, right? So in the third iteration, I wanted to use a different type of technology that we've used over the years. And two products prior to this used a kind of similar universal circuit, we call it. Now, this circuit's different than the other two, but the idea was to have a walk-in experience, have the universe work through me to design the circuit, and then print that circuit, put it between two pieces of quartz crystal, which are here. They're just very thin. And once the vibration starts, but also we wanted to be able to make this product, hence the Traveler, to, instead of bonding it to a physical object, you'd now bond it to yourself. And any mode of transportation you get into, I bring it to the gym. I when I'm cooking, I put it out, and it just raises the vibration. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And I don't want to get into it in this because it's all about you. But this is a forthcoming product from MDM, which will probably be available in the April timeframe. It is the HFA Traveler, the third iteration of this tech.
Well, that, to speak to that point, it's energy. And when you can capture energy and then manifest that, broadcast that energy in some fashion, well, then it performs a function. Look at electricity. Well, 200 years ago, we had a vague knowledge of electricity. Now that we can harness and then utilize electricity and perform different functions with electricity, look what has come about from electrical engineering. Well, this is the trajectory that scalar or 0-point energy will assume. We have to first harness it, understand its nature, and then therefrom you can have so many inventions, you can have so many offshoots.
Sky's the limit. Once
it's unlimited.
Unlimit your thinking, thereby unlimiting your potential, I like to say.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, it was amazing talking to you again, brother.
Always.
Yeah, thank you for getting together with us.
Yeah, we're traveling down the same path.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
This is the path of consciousness, scalar energy, 0-point energy. It's a new science, and it's going to change the world. This energy is free. This energy is from the sun and the stars. Hence, it offers unlimited potential, unlimited supply of energy. That's where we're going with this, people. There's not going to be an energy crisis in the future. We'll tap into star power. There will be no more scarcity of energy.
I'm right there behind you. All good.
Amen.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it, as always.
Thank you, sir.